While the 2012 U.S. presidential election just 3 months away, China bashing has been heard from both President Barack Obama and his Republican challenger Mitt Romney on the campaign trail. This week's Across America talk will explore this rhetoric, along with massive campaign spending and what the election means for China-U.S. relations. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Across America Talk with China Daily columnist Chen Weihua and veteran journalist Boris. Welcome both. So today we're going to talk about the U.S. presidential election, which is just 3 months away. Speaking of presidential campaign, Weihua, what is your impression of it?
I think compared with to previous campaign, the negative ads in this campaign are truly shocking. First, if you see how much money is involved in these negative ads, President Obama and Mitt Romney have been busy over the past months raising money. Romney just raised $101 million in July, and President Obama raised $75 million. That is continuing. Both attending multiple fundraisers, every week. And secondly, the content of the negative ads are truly nasty. It almost seems to be saying that if you repeat a lie 1,000 times, it becomes truth. And third, I think these whole negative ads really tarnish the image of the United States, which claim to be a role model of democracy and a free election. Because if you tell people free election is all about how much money you can raise and how nasty you can run the ads, that is ironic.
Zhou, we hear a lot of China bashing from both Mitt Romney and President Barack Obama. They both have accused China for stealing U.S. jobs or deliberately undervaluing its currency. Why does China seem to be the target of American politicians sometimes?
China makes for a convenient shorthand for those complaining about U.S. trade policy. China, of course, is a sovereign nation that negotiates on a bilateral basis like other countries with the United States and its other trading partners, and therefore is seeking the best deal and the best advantages for its side, which is its prerogative, of course. Rhetoric of a campaign in a, maybe, unfortunately, in sometimes a caricatured fashion that this or that country is the source of these problems makes for an external target, as you point out, that is conveniently attacked from time to time, and if only we could deal with this country in a certain way, we could resolve all of our, or a good deal of our economic problems. Of course, reality is more layered and complex than that sort of rhetoric would allow.
So we're going to hear the promises from both Democrats and Republicans soon at the party's convention later this summer. Do you think these promises may affect China in some way?
To the extent that China is involved in these various campaign promises from either candidate, I would say that it's likely to focus on trade discrepancies, that sort of thing, the accusations of currency manipulation, the overemphasis in some quarters on outsourcing, offshore outsourcing. But I don't think that China, as a practical matter, has to worry about any sort of radical change in U.S. policy, regardless of whether President Obama is reelected or Mitt Romney comes into the Oval Office. A lot of promises are made during the course of a campaign, most of which end up being broken. And I think the strength of the bilateral relationship is such that regardless of what talk may emerge by either candidates or their surrogates from here on out in the remaining 3 months we have until November, is immaterial in terms of its ultimate import for the relationship between Washington and Beijing.
And Weihua, what is your prediction of this upcoming election?
Well, I actually am concerned, but I'm not that concerned. The reason I'm saying that, if you look at the previous campaign, like Bill Clinton and George Bush all said tough things on China. But once they're elected, actually they almost all started the honeymoon with China. So I think this is all campaign rhetoric. You are here now. So I think this is going to disappear. Once these politicians are elected, when they start office, because right now people are concerned about Romney is going to label China a currency manipulator day one. I don't think that's going to happen, actually, because that literally is going to trigger a trade war, and both China and the United States cannot afford that. I don't think the business community, the people will agree with that, not even the Congress. So I think what you hear these days are all the campaign rhetoric.
All right, thank you both for joining us, and our Across America Talk will continue to follow the 2012 campaign.